trust Nigeria to be right in the middle of drama. It's not even AFCON this time, it is World Cup qualifications. The Nigerians have lashed on to an inquiry. Apparently, the Cameroonians started this, and the Nigerians have lashed on to it, seeing a path to them going ahead to go into the Confederations playoffs finals coming up to try and qualify to the World Cup. So Congo DRC might be in a bit of a pickle. They have, Nigeria that is, have formally asked FIFA to investigate this matter. It's submitted a formal petition to FIFA over the alleged use of ineligible players by the DRC during their decisive clash with Nigeria in the CAF playoffs for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, which happened only a few weeks ago. So Nigeria's disqualification hopes have been revived after FIFA opened an investigations into the eligibility of several DRC players who featured in the playoff finals. The Super Eagles lost on penalties. I remember there was talk of witchcraft at some point, but now we've gone to paperwork ineligibility. The match determined Africa's representatives for the intercontinental playoffs, and the result is now under review following allegations of regulatory breaches. This is all about the paperwork, and I'll explain a bit more after I've read this statement from this guy is the spokesperson from the Nigerian Football Federation, General Secretary Dr. Sanusi Mohammed. Speaking on the matter, Dr. Sanusi said FIFA may have been misled by DRC during the player clearance process. So they're not saying that FIFA have done anything wrong, but they think the DRC have deliberately misled FIFA on how this works. So according to NFF, this is the Nigerian Federation, FIFA approved these players based on the documentation and assurances provided by the DRC, as FIFA regulations allow players to represent a country if they hold a valid passport. However, Nigeria's complaint alleges that the clearance process itself may have been fraudulent, given potential conflicts with Congolese nationality laws. Guys, when you're dealing with people who know the law and paperwork, you cannot take a mistake. And I think this is where the DRC may get caught out. Because Nigeria, going to it, Nigeria have got a similar thing, except the law in Nigeria allows for dual nationality. Congo doesn't. So it says, it is not FIFA's duty to know the domestic laws of every country. That's what Sanusi said. That is why we formally drew FIFA's attention to the issue, and we are now awaiting their verdict. The investigation is believed to center on up to 9 DRC players who allegedly switched national allegiance without fully completing the legal and administrative requirements stipulated by both Congolese law and FIFA statutes. While possession of a passport is a key requirement under FIFA rules, it does not automatically guarantee eligibility. Players must also comply with domestic legal provisions and FIFA's regulations governing changes of association. Reports indicate that some of the affected players may not have finalized the necessary processes before representing Congo in the qualifiers. FIFA is understood to be examining the matter closely, with possible outcomes ranging from match forfeiture to other disciplinary measures, depending on the findings. A complete disqualification from international competition remains unlikely, but has not been ruled out. I'm not feeling well, guys, so bear with me, and I'm boiling hot. Should DRC be sanctioned, the NFF says it is unclear whether Nigeria would automatically advance to the intercontinental playoffs in Mexico or be required to contest another qualifying match. Nigeria, meanwhile, remains on standby as it awaits FIFA's decision on the case. Wow! Wow, wow, wow. So you know why Nigeria have got the same problems. None, I'm telling you, majority of their squad are not indigenous, homegrown Nigerian players. They qualify because their parents were born in Nigeria, their grandparents were born in Nigeria. These are British foreign players who are coming to play under the Nigerian flag because they can't make it in the teams, like the Wobbies of this world. He's not going to be picked for England. He's a London boy, that guy. He grew up in London. So they know what it takes. Nigeria also allows dual nationality, which means when Iwobi is in the UK, Iwobi has got a British passport. Let me guarantee you. And he's also got a Nigerian one, but the law in Nigeria allows it. What they are saying with these Congolese guys like Wan-Bissaka, let's see, Congolese national team. Hey, crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. The Wan-Bissakas, they're saying, wait a minute, they might have two passports, but it is against the law in Congo for them to have two passports. Did they do the paperwork to relinquish their British, Belgian, French citizenship? So these players are not exactly operating fully. They might have two passports, but these passports are not legal. So they would need to do, from Zambia, there is a form you have to fill in to say you don't want to be Zambian or you don't want to be British. If they don't allow dual nationality, you have to basically renounce citizenship of your previous country. How many Africans, Congolese, do you know who's going to relinquish French nationality? Let's have a look at some of these players who might be affected. Masaoko plays for Sunderland. I don't know if he's local. I know Wan-Bissaka is not going to be a local Congolese. He grew up in London. Let's see. All these Macau, France. When you see a lot of these people in France, these guys are French players. And if they were picked for France, they'll choose France over DRC. I can't lie. No, let me just be honest. Kayembe, don't know whether he's local or not, but so many players are getting picked and they're not doing the paperwork properly to relinquish homegrown. Basically, it's a loyalty test. In Congo, they demand that you are not a citizen of any other country but Congo. So now the question comes whether who's Esende, Mayele, Mayele sounds like a local boy who went to Turkey. There's somebody, have Masaoko Mbuku from, this Nathaniel Mbuku probably is French. Basically, a lot of Kayembe, Joris Kayembe, Belgium. These guys are Townzebe. Let me check on this Townzebe guy. Let's see if we can find out any more information about his upbringing. He was actually born in Congo. Yeah, sorry, Townzebe. He was born in Congo. He's a graduate of Manchester United youth system, won both the Jimmy Murphy Trophy, blah, 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 but he grew up in London. Born in Congo, grew up in Manchester, London. At the age of 17, he was named as a substitute bench for a match against Crystal Palace in the Premier League. So he basically came to the UK as a very young guy. So definitely he would be okay. The only problem he would have if he got neutralized citizenship through his parents is that he is going to have a British passport. And that is a huge problem. They need these British passports to be able to play freely across Europe and all these other countries. So the complaint from Nigeria is a genuine complaint based on paperwork, but Nigeria basically are cheating the system in the same way with signed paperwork because the law in Nigeria allows dual nationality. The law in Congo does not allow dual nationality, meaning that unless these boys have ripped up their British passports and have signed a document saying we are not British, we are Congolese, then they should not be playing for Congo. And that is the way it's gotta be, because the law in their country doesn't do that. They might have got waivers. The chances of them having got waivers from their government are very low. Let's be honest. So in the grand scheme of things, I think it is more likely than not that a lot of these players are not playing legally for Congo DRC, despite their spicy and the flowery names and African names. They might not be playing. So, but let's move this story on. What happens? What should happen in this case? They should be disqualified. I have, to be honest, apart from Zambia, I think I've pitted DRC, in my opinion, to win the African Nations Cup. I think they've got the strongest team. The way they play, they play like Nigeria, actually. But but I like their fluidity. They look, they've got heart as well. And I've never really heard them go on strike for non-payment of funds. I don't think they care. They think from Southern Africa, we I think love our football more than anything. We'll moan about payments, but trying to strike, I think, is not it. So I think we are more passionate. We love our country more. We just don't make noise about it. We are less talented for sure than the West Africans. But I reckon these guys should have got a shout to win this tournament. But if their players are not legally meant to be playing in the national team, they shouldn't. They should do what we do. Look at how Zambia is suffering. We do not have that kind of relationship with our colonial masters. We do not have access to the best academies in the world. So our players are homegrown players who, when they are probably some age cheating involved as well, they have to drop ages 3-4 years to try and get, to get to the same standard as some of these other countries. But we are suffering now for the last few years because we do not have the same access which these guys are having. So unless they get the right paperwork, FIFA might have no option but to disqualify them. Now, the best outcome for me would be that the country should get a huge fine. Congo DRC, the Federation for Football, wherever in the Democratic Republic of Congo, should get a huge fine, because on an ethical, am I trying to go for ethical? Fair play, let's do fair play. These boys, rightly, every country, I think in West Africa, especially, are doing the same thing. They are using players who they didn't grow themselves. They are basically cheating the system, aren't they? Using players who could easily, if they had a choice, would go and play for their countries like Belgium, France, England. They are going to play for their home countries, meaning that us Zambians and South Africans and Tanzanians, we are playing a different standard of football to players. Basically, we are not. It's not a level playing field. So for me, money, hit them in the pocket. But if you can't disqualify them, I think disqualifying them would be crazy. Basically, fine them, and if they don't correct this paperwork before the next sort of tournament, the World Cup, if they qualify, then they should take these players out until they sort out the paperwork. Because at the end of the day, if Nigeria, Cameroon, they've also got all these trusts, like these countries have got a lot of players. Even Cote d'Ivoire have got some players, who basically are not homegrown players. They've basically got players who could be playing for other nations, but they've done the paperwork. It's just a paperwork issue. A fine is good enough, but if my country, Zambia, was in Nigeria's shoes, I would want them disqualified. I can't lie. Sorry, DRC, you're my people, you're my neighbors, you're my brothers, because we are one in that area. But I am like, if your paperwork is not correct, if you've got a mess up and your players have got dual nationality, I would want you disqualified. But I hope after this investigation comes back that the paperwork is done correctly, your players have chosen you over dual nationality. That is what I want to hear. But chances are that is not what has happened. and we probably have got a huge problem, but maybe a huge fine would be good enough. You guys, what do you think? Am I being dramatic? Am I being too harsh? Should I not be too horrendous about the Nigerians and their approach to this whole thing? You know, you remember in their team, these guys, you know, they see these things. Isn't there like is it South Africa or Benin? South Africa were docked 3 points in the group stage of the World Cup qualifiers because they fielded a player who wasn't registered for FIFA by FIFA. So you cannot just qualify to these tournaments because of paperwork. You are not worthy to be there, but you are basically competing in one, you know, the mother body of football is the most corrupt, horrendous body we are dealing with. Look at the nonsense this Gianni Infantino is putting us through with the American flirting and all this Israel stuff at the end of the day, you know? So basically, maybe a small fine will suffice because, you know, at the end of the day, FIFA is as corrupt as anything else. They definitely do not hold the moral high ground in this case. To be honest, I feel bad saying FIFA is corrupt. Okay, let me not say FIFA is corrupt. But yeah, their morals can be questioned easily, and they should fine Congo instead of take them out. Because to be fair, Congo probably deserve that spot because they've worked for it. Those players, if it was like a one-off thing where no one else does the same thing, I would say yeah, disqualify them 100%. But I'm 75% disqualify, 25% fine. So if they get a fine, I'll be happy with it. That is if they are guilty. And I think they are, because, you know, I've got more than 5 brain cells. Even I feel really unwell today, but they've got more than 5 brain cells. I've got more than 5 brain cells. I've got a feeling that these players have got dual nationality and they should not be playing for Congo DRC until they relinquish one of them or until the law in Congo changes. So tell me, what do you think? Nigeria, do you want to go to the World Cup and or go to the next stage? You won't make it out of the next stage anyway, from the way things are looking, the way you're playing. I've watched your friendly against Egypt. You're not going far, but you know, you've chased this. It's a good thing to show up so people can be diligent about, you know, the procedural things that we have to do in life. But are you embarrassed? You know, when I saw this story earlier, I thought this has got to be a joke because who would chase it? But then I also admire it because, you know, these things, we need to make sure that we are chasing these things up and we're doing things properly. Let me know what you think about this whole thing, but I think it is super, super embarrassing that you even consider that I think your governing body said something about we are standing by. We are standing by in case something changes, and then we are going to be ready to go into this tournament, this confederation, interconfederation trophy thing. Shut up. Don't be foolish. Come on. No one wants to see Nigeria there. We want to see Congo DRC. So give them a fine. But you, Nigeria, please, I am hoping my fans, I've got so many Nigerian people supporting this platform, and I absolutely appreciate it. But I know you guys do not want to go to the World Cup under this. You know, you already have so much resistance in the world. You have to wait to earn it. And you can't say you earn it because blah, blah, blah. You guys, you've got the same thing. Your players, in fact, your team is even worse than Congo. I don't think, maybe 2%. Only the keeper is local. Everybody else, well, maybe the wing backs, the full backs, everyone else, he should be playing in Europe. They would be playing in Europe if they could. Look at all the Sakas, the Ezes. You think they'll come and play for Nigeria instead of England? So let's be fair. Let's have let's do like a fair play thing. And then we go from there. We'll go to African Nations Cup starting in less than a week. We've got 5 days to go, 4 days to go. We've got 4 days to go. And I can't wait to watch that tournament. Please do not forget to like and subscribe, and do not forget to turn on your notification so that we can see what goes on. But yeah, let's see. But I'm really I don't know. Yeah. This is Daliso from DSS. I really appreciate you guys, and I'll be talking to you super soon. Bye-bye.